Question number 4, the Honourable David Cunliffe. The Honourable David Cunliffe. Order. I apologise to the Honourable Member. I ask both sides of the House, please. I've called the Honourable David Cunliffe and asked members to show him courtesy. The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Wrong date for that joke, Tony.
Quiet. Mr. Speaker, to the Minister. Does he stand by all his recent statements?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, yes, particularly those statements with respect to the weak performance of the New Zealand economy in the last term of that government.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Supplementary to the Minister, which statement is correct? His claim to this House recently that over the past 10 years the New Zealand economy performed very poorly, or his statement made 5 minutes later to the House that over the past 10 years the economy grew significantly?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't necessarily take that member's representations of my statements at face value. But I can understand why he is sensitive. I can understand why he is sensitive to the fact that New Zealand's economy grew poorly under his management when the rest of the world was growing strongly.
The Honourable Darren Hughes.
Mr. Speaker, my colleague David Cunliffe put a question to the Minister. That were 2 quotes from the Minister, the person he's actually asking the question to. So far, all the answers have been about David Cunliffe, not about Bill English. I don't think it's fair to get up and say, I understand why he's sensitive or embarrassed or whatever it might be. He should just answer the question.
This should not be entered. Order. I'm on my feet once more now, and points of order should be heard in silence. I expect that. I think the difficulty with the question as asked, the Minister clearly, as he started his answer, disputed the context of the components of the member's question. And since it's not a question on notice, there's been no authentication of the validity of the context of the 2 quotes, and that's why I can't insist on a particular answer. The Honourable David Cunliffe, supplementary question.
Just a point of order on that ruling, sir. If the difficulty was in the way of the question phrased, may I seek leave to rephrase that question?
No. The member asked his question and got an answer. Aaron Gilmore.
Mr. Speaker, supplementary question to the Minister. What statements has the Minister made about the government's economic priorities for 2010?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, the statements I have made about the economy looking ahead are focused on the need to rebalance the economy and the government's program for doing so. We simply can't continue as a country that spends more than it earns and tries to create wealth by buying and selling houses off each other.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr. Speaker, to the Minister, how does he reconcile his statement that between 2005 and 2008, quote, the economy grew by less than 1% a year, close quote, with official statistics that show that the economy grew at almost twice the rate he claimed?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I think the member's retailing a story from a couple of weeks ago on one of those left-wing blogs. And the problem there was that he is using nominal growth in the economy when the standard measure is real growth in the economy.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr. Speaker, can the Minister confirm that during the last year of National's administration, from September to September, GDP actually declined by 2.2%?
The Honourable Bill English.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I can confirm that, and I'm pleased the member has discovered that. But the government is dealing with the economy as it found it, which was that from about 2005 on, government grew strongly and our earning capacity shrank. We then had a global crisis, and it's our job to clean up that mess.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr. Speaker, is the Minister aware that over the 9 years of the Labour government, GDP growth averaged 3.2%, higher than under the previous National government and obviously his own? And of course, is he further aware that the strong and sustained expansion was achieved at the same time that net debt was cut to zero, gross debt was cut in half, unemployment was less than half the current rate, thousands of New Zealanders were lifted out of poverty, the minimum and average wages rose every year, and if so, sir, why doesn't he just admit to New Zealanders what is patently obvious, that he is shonky in his use of figures and he's got no plan for growth?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, I think that's why Labor got into opposition and is staying in opposition, because it is unable to understand the negative impact that it had on this country and the thousands of people who have no jobs or little job security because of the poor economic management in the last years of the Labor government.
Question number 5, Dr. Cam Calder. Order. I've called Dr. Cam Calder.